Hey guys, so yesterday in my Facebook group I posted this picture that I did of Gracie, and it was just a basic studio shot. She was just in a white dress, and I just started playing around with florals, so painting florals. They're just old master painters from 1800s, sometimes earlier. And I like to collect them, so I've got like a folder full of old paintings that I keep for stock that I use in portraits, and it's legal to use them because any painting where the painter or the artist has been deceased for 100 years or more, it's pretty much open for use. So I'm just going to show you, because I did have a couple people in my Facebook group yesterday want to know how to use BlendIf. And I know that there's a ton of videos on YouTube that you can learn how to do it, but I don't know necessarily if there's any using florals the way that I did here. But it's really super easy, and I think that it has a really kind of unique look to it. So what I did was I just downloaded this image from Adobe Stock because I didn't feel like retouching in order to do this. So this is just a basic image from Adobe. You can go onto Adobe and get any portraits and use them for practice. So I have chosen this image as a floral and this one as a floral. Now keep in mind that these are 8-bit, they're not 16-bit. They are small, but it really doesn't matter for this technique. So let me just show you. So I think I'm going to start with this one. I like the darks. This one is great too, and I chose it because of how dark it is. But let's start with this one and just drag it down like this, and I literally just drag it on like that. And you can see it's tiny compared, but just use your transform tool, and what I do is I like to place it somewhere around the area that I want it to be. And what I'll do is I'll just hit enter once I figure that out, and then I'll reduce the opacity so I can see where it sits in the hair. And keep in mind that you can go back to your transform tool and rotate it to suit. I'm going to try and put these flowers on those two curves of her hair right there. Now I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I don't want this part, which is a table or something, to show up. So I'll have to do a couple passes, which is fine. So that looks pretty good. Just hit enter. Just to address another thing, I had one of my followers yesterday on YouTube commenting on my water video, asking they would like to see the edits of the images. And honestly, guys, I just don't have time to teach and edit for all YouTube videos. The only time that I will really get into the details of edits is in my Teachable school. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go there and pick up any course that you like. Additionally, beneath any video, if there's something that you would be willing to pay for as far as an edit, just let me know and I'll try and find some time to do that. Right now, I am not doing photography full-time anymore due to COVID. I've closed my studio, and the only photography I'm doing is for teaching, for my YouTube channel, and for myself. And my real life job now, I'm going back to real estate and finance, which I'm actually really excited about. I don't know about any of you all, but you know, after 13-14 years in photography, I'm burnt out, and I'm tired of just so much drama and so much. I'd have to say that, you know, it kind of chews you up and spits you out after a while. And a lot of photographers that have had some notoriety, it's great, but it's such a blip in time. Like, I find that there's someone who's the flavor of the week and everybody runs and copies that. And then there's a new person that's the next flavor of the week. And so I've decided to take myself out of that and only do what feels good for me, because I think mentally, because there's so much noise online and there's so much judgment, and I've had a lot of really good experiences, and I've also had a lot of really shitty ones. So I'm just going to do this strictly for you guys and for fun. So it's not going to be really consistent. I'm not looking to monetize my channel and make any money off it. I'm going to make all my money outside of photography now, which is fine by me. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back into it. Okay, so I've reduced my opacity to 43% on this. I'm just going to pull it right back up again now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click on this layer, which will open up the layer styles. All right. And what I'm going to do is down here in BlendIf, I'm going to start by pulling this. This is the highlights, or it's actually the shadows. And I'm looking for to reveal the underlying layer. So this is this layer, and I want to reveal the underlying layer, but what I want to do is just see which side is going to work best for this. And I find with this technique, when I was playing with it, you had to really kind of push it almost all the way to the edge before you split the two. And this is how you split the two to get that feathering. Just hold down your Alt or Option key and split these 2 points. And now you can see that it really does split everything and kind of feather it out a bit. Doesn't look perfect, but I'll show you what I do. Click OK, and now what I'm going to do is hold down Alt or Option and click Mask, so that now I can come in and I can paint that effect on only to the areas that I want it to be. So for this, I'm just on a basic soft brush at 100% everything, and I'm going to come in and just start painting on this effect. Now, there's no real right or wrong with this. So basically all I do is I try to apply it and make it look as realistic as possible. I will tell you that I don't like these blue dark areas, so I will paint those off. But to start, I have to kind of put everything down where I want it to be so that I can take away the stuff that isn't working for the image. So I'm going to start with this. I really want the flowers to actually be pretty prominent, like so. Now this here is that little pumpkin, and this down here is the table, so we definitely don't want the table. So I'm going to start painting off the parts that I don't want in this. So it's going to be these blue shadows, because most of the darks in this floral image had really blue cool shadows, and I don't really want those, because you can see in the base image it's pretty warm in the shadows, so it's not gonna mix. So yeah, that's all you do, is you come in and you do that, and then you can adjust your opacity after. You can play with different blend modes as well. And that's the nice thing with BlendIf, is it just helps to blend everything in like that. I still want these to be a little bit brighter, but I'm not too terribly worried about it if it doesn't get as bright as I want it to be, because I can come back in and just use a curves adjustment layer. Okay, so that's before, that's after. It's not too bad. I think it looks okay. Okay, and now what I think I'm gonna do is pull this other one down, pull it on, and I'm just trying to find the right place for it. I'll start with that and reduce my opacity just to make sure that this is where it should be. I kind of like try this way. I think that way is better. Yeah, That's definitely better. Okay, right there is good. All the way up again, double click. Now we can try to do something like red. Let's say you have something else, but I don't know how well that'll work per se. I mean, it's not bad. Let's try green. That's not bad either. Let's split the two. Okay, I actually like that. Let's just turn it off and on, and now we can see where we have to paint off. So grab a black brush, and now we can paint away. So sometimes you have to make your brush really little, and then you can come back and kind of paint the edges and the details of the flowers back in. Like so. So that's before and after. You can take a look around and see what it has done. I think that's pretty cool. All right. So I'm going to do another one. I'm sorry, I have a hair on me that's driving me nuts. I'm going to grab this one again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to sort of make it look like it goes around the other side of the head as well. So I'm just going to use my warp tool here and just warp it in a little bit. Like so. Okay, now let's reduce the opacity and just see where that goes. That looks cool. Okay, pull it back up. Let's go back to our BlendIf. I'm just going to use the basic one now. Come in and pull this to the side. Right about there, and we're going to split the two. Hold down your Alt or Option key. I don't want too much splitting on this because I really don't want to lose the flowers there. Okay, that looks good. Click OK. And once again, we're going to hold on our Alt or Option, click Mask, and now we can come in with a brush and just paint that back where we want it to be. I'm going to get really close to her face, but I have to use a tiny brush so that it doesn't spray onto her skin. So I'll wait until I'm finished getting the majority of it on. So you can do this with so many different things, so many pictures or layer styles or just so much. I think it's a cool technique. So let's just get really close in here. Tiny brush. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably bring this right into her face because it's not going to affect it. Okay, and you can reduce a little bit because it's a further behind her. I actually think I'm going to use a black brush and just come in and try and create a little more shadow around her face here. So I'm just painting it off because there would be a little bit of shadow around there. Voila! So that's how you do it, guys. And conversely, I'm going to go ahead and flatten this. Conversely, if you wanted to add the same type of thing to the background, like I did here, so you can see that I have a lot of florals in the background, then what you can do is just grab another one of those. Let's do this one again. Pull it on, transform the size. Let's say something like that. And double click and come in and do the same thing. And this way you can really create an amazing looking background. Pull that apart just a little bit like so. And then change your blend mode to like lighten and then reduce. So now you've got like this really super pretty kind of subtle background that you can use in your images. You can change the blend mode to screen. You can change the blend mode to anything that suits the image. So linear light, hard light. Yeah, just play through. A lot of times I'll just use normal too and just reduce it like this. Like so. And duplicate that layer, pull this over to this side, like so, add a mask, and then just paint it off the area that you don't want it. Same thing with this one, paint it off the area that you don't want it. And then just add something like a gradient, let's say. Let's see what colors we have in this. I try to stay good with my color toning. Let's use one of these warmer colors for a gradient, and then just come into your gradient, choose radial, and you can come in and make it a little bit bigger, like around 200. Like so. And then just reduce that opacity down so that it looks a little more subtle. And then if you wanted to, you could duplicate that layer, open it, and pull it down over here so that you got the same here. And these are just really super quick, easy ways to do this. I think this is probably too bright if we want all of the attention to be somewhere there. So I'm just going to choose a darker gradient, let it do the linear. Going to pull it up to about there, and then just paint that off of the face area like so. And feather it out. Go ahead and flatten. Right? So something as simple as that can create something pretty unique, right? I mean, it's very unique. And then just for shits and giggles, I'll just throw on one of my actions. Let's do, oh yeah, let's do Happily Ever After. That'll probably be cool. It's my new favorite lately. So we're just going to slap that sucker on. And as always, open everything up and just see if I need it to be adjusted. So this one, you can just drag it and then reduce. This one, and reduce. And this is the final. We'll reduce that one overall because it's too bright. Close the whole group, turn it on, turn it off. Voila. So that's all there is to it. It's super easy, quick to do, especially if you're looking for a little bit of creative outlet. If you make one of these, join my Facebook group down below in the description and show everybody what you did. Until next video, see you guys.